Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mobility Matters. I'm your host, Javier Betancourt, Executive Director of the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust, or CITT. We're the agency of Miami-Dade County charged with overseeing your half-penny sales tax for transportation. Please visit our website to learn more about us and find opportunities to volunteer as either a trust member or a CITT ambassador. That's at www.miamidade.gov/CITT. So, as an agency of Miami-Dade County involved in the transportation space, one of our key partners in that is the Miami-Dade Expressway Authority. And with us today is a wonderful guest and an old friend, Darlene Fernandez, who is the Executive Director of MDX. Darlene, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Javier, for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So, Darlene, for those who don't know what MDX is, can you please just give us a quick overview of the agency?
Absolutely. So Miami-Dade Expressway Authority was created 30 years ago in 1994. A lot of people may or may not remember Miami back then, the population was probably about 900,000 residents in the 60s and 70s. And now when you look at where we're at, we're close to 3 million people now. We had a crisis back then because there was not enough transportation infrastructure in place for us to keep up with so many people that were moving into our city. So the Board of County Commissioners, Miami-Dade County, created Miami-Dade Expressway Authority to use our toll fees to really reinvest back into our community to be able to keep up with the transportation infrastructure that we needed at the time. So we currently oversee 5 expressways. I always tell people it's easier to understand by saying we manage everything going east to west. So everything from the beach to Kendall or south to Homestead or back. So that's State Road 836, which is a Dolphin Expressway, which is one of our largest arterial expressway roads that we have. We have State Road 874, Don Shula, State Road 878, which is Snapper Creek, State Road 112, the Airport Expressway, which everyone knows very well, especially if you travel a lot. And we have the Gratney, which is State Road 924. So that's something that has always been, that we've always overseen to basically make improvements, of course, because of the influx we had on our residents here in Dade County. And I want to say that Miami-Dade Expressway has probably invested about $1.9 billion to date into this community. So we're very, very proud of what we've been able to accomplish. And what I say 30 years is a short time when we look at transportation, because sometimes we're talking about projects that may be 30 years out and it's one project, yet Miami-Dade Expressway has actually done many, many, many projects within this time frame of these 30 years. And I want to say 40% of that has been given to small business locally here in Miami. So we've been able to accomplish a lot in our time since its existence, since it was created.
So when you say given to business, basically those are the businesses you hire to
Correct.
construct, operate, maintain.
Correct. And our small business, is always a percentage that every agency strives for and pushes for. And Miami-Dade Expressway has really even gone above and beyond what that is. So I really think that it's something that helps our community, especially our local businesses, to be able to give back, right, to those and we created probably over about 20,000 jobs so far.
And those
with
are
our
direct jobs.
And those are direct jobs, correct, through our
That's
projects.
not including the indirect jobs that are
Correct.
created by having that infrastructure in place. And
Correct.
which feeds tourism and feeds, economic development.
Exactly, right.
Types.
And you mentioned that now, State Road 836 and 112, we have our largest economic engines, Port of Miami, and of course our airport. That's what our expressways feed. And it's the tourism, and of course, let's talk about commercial or freight. That's something that's really important because to get from point A to point B in long distances from where they come from, they need to be able to use these roads to be able to access, to go all the way to the Keys, right, down south, or whether it's to go north. So it's provided a lot for this community.
Safe to say that your system is the backbone of Miami-Dade County upon
Correct.
which everything else feeds, right?
Correct.
So we got to keep that backbone healthy.
Yes, and let me tell you, our surface transportation system today, our local roads, they're the same roads from 1960.
Right.
The only thing that's evolved and changed is obviously our expressway system to be able to move people in and out. So it's amazing where we've gone as a county and where we're going, because we're going to continue growing as time passes.
And obviously the system continues to evolve and grow, and we'll get to that in a second. But
Yeah.
before we do, let's take a pause and talk about you for a second. So as I understand it, you're the first female director of MDX, is that true?
Yes. First female, third executive director in its existence. I started, it will be a year and 3 weeks. I am the first female. I also
Congratulations.
thank
Major
you.
achievement.
Thank you. I also serve as the MDX board member prior to me
Okay.
being selected as the executive director. So I've been around MDX for quite some time.
And I think that's important to note. MDX has a governing board.
Correct.
Right. And how are they chosen, and who's the chair of the board?
Correct. So there's 4 that are appointed, 5 appointed by Miami-Dade County, our Board of County Commissioners, and there are 4 that are appointed by the governor's office from the state. So
Okay.
that's and we have, I'm sorry, I take that back. 3 from the governor's appointments, and 1 is the district secretary for FDOT.
Okay. And who's the chair today?
Today is board member Pepe Diaz,
Former commissioner.
former commissioner.
And now
yes.
Mayor of Sweetwater.
Yes, and
She's
now
got a lot of
mayor-elect.
hats.
Yes, the mayor-elect
Mayor-elect.
for Mayor of Sweetwater. Yes, correct.
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So back to you for a second. So not only you're the first female director of MDX, but I think recently you also won a very prestigious award that Eileen Bouclet just won.
Yes.
Eileen Bouclet with the TPO, and that's the International, what is it, the
In
Company of Women
In Company of
Awards.
Women Awards
Thank you.
for government and law non-elect.
Non-elect.
Non-elect. And I had
Huge
won that
honor,
award.
by the way.
Thank
I mean,
you.
have
Thank
when
you.
I think of the women who have received that over the
Yes,
years,
yes.
it's the who's who of the women's leadership in Miami-Dade County. So
Absolutely.
Must
And
be a
that-
great honor.
It is. And that was 2022. And I know Eileen, I think, took over that same award
Yes.
this year. So I'm really excited. We work hand in hand. So it's fun and exciting to see other women executive directors that are honored the way that they are in this industry, right? So I'm really happy about that.
As the father of twin girls, I'm always very proud to see women being empowered and taking on leadership roles. And, this is a community that's known for that, right? It was actually one of the only major cities, I believe, founded by a woman, Julia Tuttle.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the leadership landscape today, we have Mayor Daniela Levin Cava.
Correct.
We've had, prior to leaving, Alice Bravo was the head of the transportation department.
Yes.
You have yourself, you have Eileen Bouclet at the TPO, you have Stacy Miller at FDOT. So, it seems like the women are really taking the leadership roles here in Miami-Dade County, which is fantastic because that's how things get done.
I didn't say that. You said that.
I said it and I'll stand by it.
Yes. And I have to say, I also sit in the FIU's Dean's Leadership Council for the College of Engineering. Right. And when you talk about women, right, in our career, it's something that maybe 4% of us graduates are female. And I'm trying to push the envelope as much as I can to really get an early start, even with high school students and middle school students, to educate them that just because you're a woman in this industry doesn't mean you cannot reach certain accomplishments. And that's something I'm really pushing hard with the Florida International University.
And Miami's
now.
proven that, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, but it's a work. I always say it takes an army for us to be able to accomplish what we do and come together as a team for us to really be an advocate for women that really want to be leaders.
Right. So what are your tips for women looking at engineering, as a profession, some of the maybe challenges or opportunities that you faced?
I want to say probably one of the biggest challenges I see when I talk to students is they feel it's a man-dominated industry, right? And they sometimes think, okay, I'm a woman, I'm a mother, right? I don't know if I can reach what a man can do in this industry, and it's actually quite the opposite. I tell them, just be yourself. Mm-hmm. Be yourself. Do not be ashamed to be a mother, to have to be a person that comes with an emotional, more of an emotional side. That's actually a strength, not a weakness.
Absolutely.
You could be more compassionate, you're more empathetic. And as a leader, you need those qualities to move forward. So instead of becoming more, no offense, more manly in this career, I think what the best advice I give is just be yourself and be true to who you are as a woman and own it. And be confident and speak up when you have to. Even if you're in a room full of, 100 men speaking on a topic, a woman can be just as loud, right? And that's something that a lot of women have to overcome through time. It's more of a personal attribute that they have. So.
Well, thank you again for leading the way on that front.
Thank you.
So I know you're a leader in your professional realm, but you're also a leader in the nonprofit realm. Tell us about some of the organizations you're involved in and what you're up to there.
Yes. So American Cancer Society, making strides. I was selected as a chairwoman in 2022. I lost my mom when I was 23 years old to this disease, which, by the way, it impacts not just women, it impacts men as well. And it's about how are we educating the public more and more every day on early detection, saving lives. Technology has changed a lot through time, even within the realm of health. And people just don't know. Even me, that I come with a background of having lost a mom at a young age, getting checked very young, You'll be surprised how much I learned myself being part of American Cancer now, that now I'm advocating and pushing throughout the community. Our death rates have gone down significantly, and we want to continue bringing that down. And it's something that I feel strongly about, being an advocate for this cause. And I was just nominated as a 2023 chairwoman again this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You must be doing a good job.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm really, really excited because there's so much more to do, right? And as I continue moving in this path, the more I learn, the more I can give back to the community and really educate, because it's an important piece of what we do every day. It's not just our professional, it's also charity work and what we're giving back to our community.
No, and as you said, I mean, cancer is something that touches every family practically, right? And I know in our own organization, there's someone who's involved in the organization, and it's just amazing what you all do. And I know the county is all in with MDX.
Yes.
We have a very healthy competition to see who raises the most funds.
Yes. Even within our Making Strides.
Give a shout out. Who won last year?
Yeah, well, I know for Men Wear Pink campaign, I think it was from our chairman's office, our previous chairman of the Board of County Commissioners. I think his office won. Okay. And then MDX for individual, we got the leadership award for that, for the Making Strides campaign, because there's two different campaigns that run parallel for American Cancer. So not to toot our own horn, but we really, really push the envelope to help the
For
community.
those who want to find out more or donate, where should they go?
So miamidade.gov is a website that you can access, and you can either join as a team, create a team within either your job or personally, get family members to join in and join our walk this year, which will be announced later on I think in the month of April, when that walk is going to take place this year.
Yeah, and the walk is a lot of fun. We're engaged in that as well. So.
And we'll be doing it at the Miami Marlins.
Marlins again, great.
Marlins Stadium, yes.
It's nice and shaded.
Yes.
We appreciate that.
Yes. It was a nice walk. Yeah.
All right, let's get back to MDX and transportation for a second.
Yes.
So we talked about the highways you oversee currently, and obviously operating and maintaining those is a huge effort in and of itself. But what are the projects that are either currently under construction or kind of on the board in the near future that you're working on?
Okay, so I'm sure everybody has driven past downtown Miami at some point and see these huge structures that are being built, which is the first double-decker in Florida, right, in Miami. It's with it's the interchange with I-95 and 195, which is where it will go into the Signature Bridge into Miami Beach. And that's a project we're working on in partnership with FDOT. We still have about 3 more years out to finish it, so we're almost there. But I'm sure everybody has seen when you go into I-95, it could be 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. When you want to travel northbound or southbound, it's a nightmare to be able to go either way, right? You have to cross a lot of lanes of traffic. A lot of people are backed up. So now this is going to improve the safety of that interchange and, of course, the operations. You're not going to have this backlog of cars queuing for over a mile in order to access it. So the double-decker, that second level, is really going to accommodate those cars that want to go north. And of course, we're delineating the traffic that's going to go south on I-95 to kind of open that up as people travel either east or west on the 836. So that's a really, really exciting project. And I'm sure you've seen off of the Turnpike, we also have another project by our very, very important location, which is our Dolphin Park and Ride lot, which I know the county's been working on for many years, and now there's a TOD that will be coming there in the future. We're building a ramp right now that you'll be able to access State Road 836 going west, because today when you're traveling south on the Turnpike, you can only go east on the 836. You cannot go west. Right. So of course, if for future expansions, as we build, our Kendall Parkway, then that ramp is going to accommodate, of course, traffic that wants to go west just directly from the Turnpike versus them having to go all the way to 8th Street today to have to go west. So those are some of our major construction projects. And of course, safety. Safety is a number one priority at MDX as well. We have the Wrong Way safety program, which I'm sure you've seen some of those wrong way signs that light up. We had them in about 1 or 2 locations in the past that we were piloting them. So it starts alerting and flashing in case somebody accidentally gets on the ramp they're not supposed to.
Which I guess happens more often than I would like to think.
Yeah, it's gotten better, especially in locations that the ramps may be too close and there might be confusion for drivers that are not too comfortable with the area, or they're tourists that come from out of state. But what we've done is expanded that program now to 26 locations, which we will be completing in about a year. And of course, we have cameras, and that alerts our traffic management center, which is we are partners with FDOT at the Sun Guide Center, which then alerts our Florida Highway Patrol immediately. Hey, there's somebody driving wrong way, to try to prevent them to continue onto the expressway to then cause a very highly injured accident or a fatality. So those are another project that we're working on now at MDX.
Okay, you mentioned Kendall Parkway.
Yes.
So this is an enormous project, really a new facility. Up to now, you've largely been working on creating greater efficiencies or improving your existing facilities. So this would be a new facility. Tell us about it and where it stands.
Okay, so right now, as everybody knows, the 836 extension was probably built about 10 years ago, which means from the Turnpike all the way to 137th Avenue, that piece was built about a decade ago. Obviously, there's a lot of growth in West Kendall. There's been what we call the urban sprawl, right? 600,000 residents live in this very small area, which is probably a third of our population. And how do we accommodate? There's not really much transportation infrastructure out there other than you get to Chrome Avenue, right? Which really connects more north-south. And what we did was, our plans are at the 836, instead of stopping at 137, it's going to continue all the way to about 167 Avenue, and there will be an exit off of 8th Street. So that will be at a bridge that's going to connect there. From that point on, we're going to have exits on Bird Road, Kendall Drive, and also Southwest 120th Street.
So it goes west and then it turns south.
Correct. Then it turns south, and it's going to run parallel, not close to Chrome, but pretty close. Like I said, 162nd Avenue. And you're going to have those exits, which will be at grade level. It's not going to be a bridge. So it goes from a bridge off of 8th Street, and then it just goes to grade level, which is why we call it a parkway. So, when you go to all these, when you leave Florida, a lot of the expressways, you see these 2-lane roads with a lot of green and landscaping and bike trails. And that's what this project is going to do. We're going to have a linear park as part of our project, a bike facility as part of our project.
Great.
Hopefully we'll have about 1 or 2 TODs that people can just leave their car there and jump on our red shoulders for our express bus service that we plan on expanding in the future. So it's really going to create a connection for those folks in Kendall now, in West Kendall, that really all they have is either get off on 137th Avenue and 8th Street and have to go through a lot of traffic to get home, or right now they take the Turnpike, right? And they get off on Bird Road or Kendall, but then to go west, it takes another 45 minutes to an hour. Right. So now they're going to come in from the back, which obviously creates, the traffic will be spread evenly versus everyone getting off going west at the same time. It will be more bidirectional in the afternoon, which then will create, less traffic, of course. So it's an exciting project. The community really, really supports it. They've been after this. I probably get calls almost every day about Kendall Parkway. So it's moving along. We've been acquiring some right away right now, and hopefully in the future we continue to our design and construction phase.
Okay. And you mentioned briefly the red lanes and the park and ride, and let's get into that a little bit more, because I think you're known obviously for moving cars, right? That's what highways do. But increasingly, you've been partnering with the county and others in moving transit, right? Both now with the Dolphin Park and Ride and the express service, and potentially in the future with things such as the East-West Corridor. So tell us more about your engagement in the transit universe.
So I think one of the first things I wanted to focus on when I came in as the executive director is, what is our vision going 30 years out? Because a lot of projects, everybody says construction projects, okay, 1 to 5 years. I consider that short-term improvements. But where are we going long-term? Because at some point we cannot build anymore, right? We cannot build more lanes. We can't, unless we're going to do double deckers all over the county, which is not our plan. It's what is the next step? Is how are we leveraging technology? How are we leveraging our transit system to really accommodate the next phase of this county, which is growing probably about 10 years to 4 million residents? Where are we going there? And that's where the vision that I've been really pushing since I got to MDX. Of course, I come from Miami-Dade County in my previous background, so the SMART Plan is something that I was involved in even when Alice Bravo was the director at Miami-Dade County, really pushing the envelope on how we're really going to solidify a plan for the future of the county. So of course, red lanes is something that is on State Road 836, and I wanted to find a way of how can we engage and help Miami-Dade County to start enhancing those services that they have now, because I know they have a bus. I believe it's one every 30 minutes. But what else?
That's the one connecting to the Dolphin
To the
Park and
Dolphin
Ride.
Park
So
and
you can
Ride.
pick up a bus at Dolphin.
Correct.
Get when the traffic is heavy, which is pretty much all the time.
Right.
They could take those red lanes.
Correct.
And bring those people straight into, where is it, downtown Miami?
To downtown Miami, correct.
Okay.
So that's how it is functioning today. But obviously, what we want to see is, of course, a 15-minute headway, not 30 minutes. We want to increase the peak hours. It's funny, I had a conversation this morning with someone regarding how traffic patterns have changed significantly in Miami. State Road 836, you used to go at a certain time and
No,
that's it. Traffic is over. Now it's bi-directional, all hours of the day. And post-pandemic, it's just people's hours have fluctuated a lot. Since they could work from home, then go into the office later, or vice versa. Peak hour now is all day long. So it's how do we enhance that service to really get the most use out of those lanes? And that's something that we're working closely with the TPO and, of course, Miami-Dade County Department of Transportation and Public Works, of how we can be a partner, which we're actively working on right now. So we can be a partner or be the bus service provider for the 836. And those are conversations that we are having now. And of course, the Kendall Parkway, once that's built, then those red lanes are just going to continue and then connect to other TODs down south that
Okay,
people
so
don't
same
have to-
idea, red lane in the shoulder.
Exactly the
Okay.
same idea for now, right? And then, of course, the east-west, there's obviously long-term plans in the future, I know, with the SMART plan. But this is, like I always say, you got to start somewhere.
Right.
And if we really don't start providing other options and accommodating them in our projects, then we're just not going to be able to do what we need to do in the future as a transportation community. We won't have the infrastructure there, and people will be desperate, as they are now, to really find some relief. So I'm really excited about that project with the transit lanes. And of course, technology, right? How are we using technology to leverage our future? Autonomous vehicle, electric vehicles. I think we're increasing by 4% every year in the state of Florida of registered electric vehicles. People are moving more and more to that because, of course, the crisis lately is everything costs so much more money now, right? Fuel, gas. And how are we accommodating that movement in the future? That's also a part of where our strategic vision has to go moving forward. So that's also part of the things that we've been discussing at MDX.
Wonderful. So multimodal is the way of the future.
Yes,
right?
multimodal, absolutely. And of course, customers first. I always say there's always a component that, because we have tolls that we collect, there's also obviously that customer experience that we also want to enhance. And we're working on maybe doing an MDX app that sometimes I have people telling me there's something on the road, maintenance or safety, there's a hazard that maybe fell off a vehicle. How can we have them access us faster? Because a lot of people don't know, right? Or how do we really increase our messaging to tell people about, make sure you have a Sun Pass. Don't do toll by plate. You're paying double the price for toll by plate. And some people don't know that. And it's really pushing messages along to people. Why not use an app and a phone that we can push notifications to let them know what their benefits are? People want to know that, especially when you're collecting money from our residents, to really give them, I want to give them a white glove experience, a white glove treatment. It's not, they come first. Our customers come first.
And look, I know you have to pay for it, but I mean, you get what you pay for. And if you compare the experience on some of the highways in your system to those that are absolutely free, you'll notice there's a different level of maintenance.
Correct.
Those free highways, while free, are in awful condition. I mean, I don't even want to ride on 95 anymore.
Right.
You know, I don't want to have to take my car into the shop the next day.
Right,
So,
right.
listen, it's an investment like anything else. If you want, a highway that is well maintained and
Landscaped.
is incorporating things like technology and landscaping, you're gonna have to pay a little more for it, right? And the good thing is that money stays here in Miami-Dade County, right?
Correct.
So every toll that's paid into your system stays in the county, doesn't go up to Tallahassee.
Correct. It stays in our system. And one thing to know is that we have not increased our toll rates in about 10 years. And we are not doing that. We have a board policy not to increase rates.
Right.
So even with everything that's been going up in price, I always remind people, everybody's focused on so much. We have a housing issue that we're going through right now as a community. We have the increase in just construction itself and fuel, like we talked about, that people are dealing with in a huge scale, right, here locally. Yet our tolls are not going to be increased, are not being increased, or there's no plan on ever doing that. And we have a snapshot of toll rates from back 9 years ago, and we're still able to accomplish all the things that we've been doing.
And in fact, you have a rebate program, right? Do you want
Yes,
to
we
discuss
do.
that? Okay.
Yes, so we had the Frequent Driver Rewards Program. It's been on since 2015. And of course, the state of Florida also just started a Frequent Driver Rewards Program, which is a 50% rebate from January to December. And ours was giving the 20% also discount between, we tested increasing and changing the program a little bit, because before people used to have to register for the program. Not anymore. If you're a SunPass account holder, then you're automatically registered.
It's automatic, right?
It's automatic.
Okay.
It's if you pass 40 transactions a month, you get 20% off your bill. And you will see that the following month as a credit. No more registration, which is also something we talk about, convenience for the customer. They don't have to register. They don't have to figure out how to do it. It's just automatically, once you hit those 40 transactions, they will give you a discount. And the state's program is the same, right? It's automatic. So we started ours. We had ours in October, because every year we revamp the program a little bit more depending on our revenue. And we give, the percentages may fluctuate depending on our revenue stream on an annual basis.
Right.
So we had 20%, and now we ended that program February 28th. The governor's program took into effect on January till the end of this year. And now we're in our budget season. So now we're working out, okay, what's our next program going to be, right? And that's something that we're actively working on now with our board to see what's the next step. What are we going to revamp the existing program, or do we move forward with something different? So that's something that we're currently discussing now.
A government agency that's actually giving the people their money back. It's unheard of.
Yes,
So-
yes, and rewarding, because it's a frequent driver rewards,
Yeah.
right? So for those that are really, really using it on a daily basis, whether it's to get to work, to get to an event that they have to get to, I always tell people, if we didn't have any expressway system, right? Can be ours, the state, the turnpike, anybody. I mean, it would take us quadruple the time, right, to get home. And quality of life is something so
cripple
important.
the community. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And our quality of life is a priority, I think, to everybody. I want to be able to get home to see my children because I need to get to a football game.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get to my house on time because I need to sit and do homework with my child. Or I have a family member that's sick and I have a time limit and constraint.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what our expressway system in Dade County right now provides, right? Other than, of course, our future transit projects, and we have our South Corridor, which is advancing. But what else is there at this moment? And that's something that people depend on heavily to be able to have a better quality of life.
Well, Darlene, thank you so much.
Thank
We're
you.
out of time, but number one, thank you for being a guest on the program.
Thank
We've
you
been
for
trying to get
having
you for a
me.
long
Yes.
time, but you're
Thank
very
you for
busy.
having me.
No, of course. And thank you for everything you do, both
Thank you.
professionally with MDX, but then even more importantly, what you do with making strides and FIU and trying to get back to the community.
Yeah.
You're a true role model, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Javier. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure. And we'll have you back again.
Yes,
When
absolutely.
you provide us updates on all the
Yes,
great things that you're
yes,
doing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
thank you all for joining us here on Mobility Matters. As a reminder, we're on every other Thursday, every 2 weeks from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., discussing a variety of mobility and transportation topics. So see you in a couple of weeks.